Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of On the Mark, Straight Talk Across the Narrows. I am Troy Liburd and I will be your host for this evening. Of course, I will not be alone tonight. That's good news. I will not be alone tonight. I'm going to have three guests here in the studios with me this evening, and we're going to have a wonderful discussion. Of course, that does not mean that we're going to leave you, the general public, out of it, because this show is a people's show. It is the way that you, the people, get to interact with us who come here from time to time, we happen to be members of the government. Of course, the show's regular host, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is the Premier of Nevis. Sometimes the show is also hosted by the Honorable Eric Evelyn, who's the Deputy Premier. And it's an opportunity for the people to engage and, to bring your issues to the table, to the forefront. And of course, it's also an opportunity for us to come and bring things that we think are important and of consequence to the people of Nevis and to the wider federation. Of course, I want to welcome all of you who are listening and viewing the show. In the past, when I first came to On the Mark, it was a radio show. It was a listening show. You could only listen, but you couldn't see us. And so I recall one time I was walking through Charlestown, and I had to call out to somebody in a kind of loud voice. And this lady walked up to me and she said, "Oh, so you are Troy?" And I said, "Yes." So I said, "Well, how you know me?" She said, "Man, I know your voice from On the Mark." I couldn't put a face to the voice, but I know the voice from On the Mark. And that lady was visiting Nevis. She's a Nevisian, of course, but she was living overseas, and just by hearing the voice she could recognize. But now we have technology, and so you can not only listen, you can also see us. So definitely you can tune in to the Von Radio YouTube page. You go on YouTube and you type in Von Radio, and be sure to like the page also. Or you can catch us on www.vonradio.com, and of course also on Facebook. You go and you like the Von Radio Facebook page, and you can also view the show on Facebook. So of course I want to welcome everybody from wherever you are viewing or listening the show from, whatever time zone you are in. I know we have people from all over the world listening this show. I know it because people call me and they tell me, "Oh, I was up in the wee hours of the morning." People in the UK and so on, they're telling me they're up and it's after midnight in the UK, and they say they go to sleep, they set their alarm clock, they wake up just in time to catch On the Mark, because what they want to know what's happening back home. They want to know what's happening in the home front. And so we try to do a good job here of bringing the pertinent issues to the forefront, so that people who are out there in the diaspora, they can get a feel for exactly what is happening at home. And so I want to welcome all of you wherever you are. If you're in the Far East, if you're in Taiwan, if you're in Malaysia. I think we got some people in Malaysia playing football, I think. So wherever you are, Indonesia, sorry, it's Indonesia, it's not Malaysia. I keep getting mixed up. That part of the world, I think it's just about morning. So wake up and come and listen to On the Mark when you're up. So if you're back in Europe, in the UK, in France, wherever you are, we're happy to have you back on the western side of the world, in the Western Hemisphere. If you're in Canada, if you're in the United States, eastern seaboard of the United States, of course. We have a lot of people in New York, in Baltimore, all over. We have people Boston, Florida. On the western side of the country, we have people in Texas, we have people in California, we have people all over who are always in tune to the show. And of course, back here in the Caribbean, have my good friends in Puerto Rico. Whenever I come on the show and I don't say Puerto Rico, they always call me and they say, "Troy, you didn't say Puerto Rico." So I want to shout out my good friends right there in Puerto Rico. I know that you tune in religiously to the show, and I want to welcome all of you to this week's edition of On the Mark. And of course, closer to home in the Leeward Islands and so on, and of course right here in the Federation, I want to welcome all of you, and I think tonight we're going to have a good show. I have some folks here with me from my ministry, Ministry of Education, Sports, Youth, IT, to tell us a little bit about what's been happening in that ministry. Of course, we have a ministry with a lot of things happening and with some big things that are about to happen. So they're here to tell us a little bit about that, and then maybe sometime little later we're going to chat a little bit of politics, because of course this is a political show, and I know that many of you want to talk a little bit about the politics, and that's okay. I mean, we didn't all get to go to Nigeria, but that's quite fine. We could talk about that a little bit later too. So welcome to the show. Of course, at the top of the show, we like to shout out those persons who are celebrating birthdays. I didn't get the big birthday list. I get my birthdays now from Facebook. My children tell me only older people are on Facebook now. The younger ones, they're on IG and other things. But I get my birthday greetings on Facebook. I see all of my Facebook friends who are having birthdays. I see them and I go on and I type happy birthday. That's one of the good things about social media. People put their profiles in and you get to know when somebody's celebrating. So I want to celebrate with anybody out there who is celebrating. And of course, on the flip side of that, while some people are celebrating, we have persons who have suffered loss, and we are one small community. And I, of course, as much as possible, would want to share my sympathies with those persons. So we have the family of Mr. Aaron Vincent Clark, better known as Humpy. I believe he was a very popular taxi driver, well known here on the island of Nevis. Also Mr. Bernard Hendrickson of Hanley's Road. He's better known as Andy, or I used to call him Koki. He's also known as that. A very good friend of mine. He would have passed away recently. Condolences to the entire family. I know the family very well. Condolences to everybody. Also the family of the late teacher and educator, Mr. Franklin Brown, MBE, in the Camps area. I want to send out condolences to the entire Brown family. Also want to send out condolences on the passing of Mrs. Vernita Amri, better known as Vernie, who is the wife of the former Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. Mrs. Amri would have passed away in the UK. I also want to send out condolences to the family of Mr. Floyd Harris, well-known gentleman here on the island of Nevis, and of course a CCM stalwart. So I would want to send condolences from myself, from my family, and on behalf of the entire CCM family to the Harris family. Floyd was one of those guys who would always come and give really good advice. He would always meet me and pat me on the shoulder and tell me, you're doing a good job here and I think you can improve there. So always somebody who was willing to come and give advice, and always somebody who I took advice from and listened to, because he came and he had really good ideas. So the family of Mr. Floyd Harris, who has really contributed a lot to the development of Nevis. I also want to send out condolences to the family of Miss Charlene Huggins. Charlene, again, is another big CCM stalwart. And during my time when I was the chairman of the party, I know whenever we would have meetings, public meetings and so on, political meetings, that I would always look around for Charlene, because more often than not, she would be the one to come up and give the prayer to start the meeting off. She was always there, always early. Whenever we were doing anything, she was always there. So condolences on my behalf to the entire family, and of course on behalf of the entire CCM family. I also want to send out condolences to the family of young Lesticia Gums. You know, death is always a difficult thing, but even more so when it is one who is very young, even more so when it comes in an unexpected way. And so I know it must be difficult for the family of young Miss Gums. I would have been at the hospital on that evening to console the mother, the family members, the classmates, and so on. And I know it's not an easy thing. So condolences to the entire family. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at 10 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. You're listening to On the Mark, Straight Talk Across the Narrows. I am Troy Liburd, your host, and I think it's about time that I bring my co-hosts and guests in for the evening. I don't think any of them are strangers to Van Radio. I think all of them have been here before, and so I'll turn over the mic and start with the PS, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves and to give a little opening sentence. Good evening, PS.
Good night. Good night to all of our listening and viewing audience. And of course, it is always a pleasure to be here. And this evening, we will have the opportunity to share a bit about what has been happening and what will be happening within our ministry. And we're so excited to have the conversation tonight.
You didn't introduce yourself to the public, you know.
My goodness. You introduced me again. My name is Anala Claxon, and I'm the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education et al.
Well, as I say, good night to our listening and viewing audience. My name is Algin Newton, and I am the Director of Sports and also the co-chair of the Inter-Primary Schools Meet.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and I am Nicola Fraser, an Education Officer within the Department of Education, and I am the chairperson for the Track and Field Steering Committee here on Nevis.
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, quite a lot has happened, and I know if you're out there in the public, you might be really interested in talking about the inter-primary school sports. Of course, we're going to get to that, but I want to start off by talking about a few other things that have happened recently within the ministry. Of course, I know inter-primary is a big thing that's happening next week Wednesday, and everybody's looking forward to it. Everybody's gearing up, but we have a couple other things that I would want to highlight before we get to that. One of the first big things I would want to highlight is the Black History Month concert that we put on sometime close to the end of last month, and the whole idea behind it was to revive something that we had in Nevis. When I was growing up as a youngster, we used to have Black History Month concerts and so on. At that time, they were held in the cultural complex. Of course, when I was in school, I used to always sing in the choir. Sometimes not by choice, but it was that way. You know, those were the good old days, quote unquote. Where once they heard you and you sound like you could half sing a little bit, they drop you in that choir and they say, okay, you're in the choir. It doesn't matter what else you want to do, you're going to be in that choir. Something that I really ended up liking, and so I would take part in those Black History Month concerts and so on. And of course, it developed a sense of awareness, because it's important for us as a people that we know our history, we know where we are coming from. And so from year to year, we would have the Black History Month celebrations on Nevis. But what had been lost from us in education was that opportunity for us to allow our young people who are inclined to the arts, whether it is to singing, to playing an instrument, to dance, to the spoken word, whatever it is, that had been missing, and we felt that it was important to bring it back. So I'll bring in P.S. Claxton to talk a little bit about that process and how that went down.
All right, so on Saturday 21st February, we had our Black History Month concert. It was an interscholastic event. We had representation from all of the schools here on Nevis, from preschools right up to our secondary schools. The production was in 4 parts: Rooted in Africa, Emancipation, Colonialism, Rising in Excellence. And so we were able to see some of our traditional dances. For example, the cakewalk. We had masquerades. We had poems. We had drumming. As I said, a lot of our culturally rich items, and we are aware that our students are exposed and are talented in various areas. So we saw singing, we saw dancing. The highlight for me was the combined choir. Just like Minister, I don't know why I was in the choir. I don't think anyone heard me and thought I could sing. Maybe it was just something to do. But the combined choirs were a thing back then, and we looked forward to it. It was something that we looked forward to, and under the tutelage back then of Mr. Doe and Mr. Sutton, may soul rest in peace, we were always excited to get involved in these activities and to hear Lift Every Voice and Sing, which was one that we did back in the day. It took us it really was a connection to our history, and we want to give highest commendations to the performers. There were some, I think all of the performances were excellent. There were some which were very much memorable. One which stands out for me was the performance by Miss Kimber Prentice. She did a rendition and played the song Alicia Keys style. I guess she was playing and singing, and that I think was outstanding. And as I said, the various schools were able to present their items, and then we had some guest artists as well. We had Rhythms Dance Theatre, we had Leap Dance Theatre who also presented. So we thought it was a very successful event, and the committee was steered by Miss Chanella Joseph, Mrs. Chanella Joseph Nisbet, and she led the charge on this particular activity. And we want to say commendations to all of the members of the committee who worked assiduously to make sure, and the staff at the Department of Education as well, who worked behind the scenes to make sure that it was successful, and the teachers who prepared the students. We just want to say thank you, and it was indeed a memorable activity, and we look forward to more activities aligned with this one in the future.
Wonderful. Anybody else want to weigh in on this concert? You guys were both at the concert?
Well, I was at the concert, but I was working at the gates, and I enjoyed seeing everyone coming in attired in their Black History outfits.
So you didn't get to enjoy the concert. You enjoyed the gate.
Yes.
You see, it's a team, and everybody is not going to get to be on the inside. Somebody has to stay on the outside to make sure that the money gets collected and so on, because of course these things don't just happen. I'm sure we put on quite a lot of events. Before getting this ministry, I can't say that I put on a lot of events or was involved with, the hosting of a lot of events. So I've learned a lot about hosting events. They take quite a lot of logistics to get them done. I recall going backstage, because the truth is that after hearing Young Prentice sing this song, I was in front, and I was standing up and clapping, and I was saying I want an encore, because she sounded so lovely. I was saying I want an encore of that. So I decided, I really need to get this encore. So let me go backstage to see what's happening backstage. And I go on backstage, and everybody backstage is going fast. I can't get nobody stop to come talk to me about my encore, because everything is happening so fast backstage just to keep the concert flowing. And so I really want to commend, Mrs. Nisbet and her team, and I want to also commend the staff at NEPAC and the manager at NEPAC, because she was running around in the Deslin Williams Johnson.
Yes.
She was running around in the back there, and I couldn't get anybody stopped at all to pay any attention to me, because they were moving so fast. And all of the teachers who worked with the students to prepare them, they were well prepared. I think there was one performance where a gentleman came out, and he was our first premier, the Honorable Simeon Daniel, if I'm not mistaken, and he came out in his suit, and he was, standing there and shaking his head, looking all stately. And these are preschoolers, and I was there thinking to myself and marveling and saying, it's really good to give the youngsters that, that level of exposure. I think we also, another thing that really stood out for me in the concert is that we did some narration as the concert went on. So as you move from one stage to the next stage, we had some youngsters come out and do a little skit, maybe 3 or 4 of them. They did a skit to introduce the next segment of the concert. And I think for me, and certainly for the ministry, what we are looking to do is to provide more opportunities for our youngsters to expose them. Students get a lot of opportunities in sports and so on. We're having sports all year round. Sports is a big thing, but there are less opportunities in terms of having events so that they can showcase their talent in the performing arts. So we are hoping that this Black History Month concert, now that we've done it and we've gone through all of the teething pains and so on with the logistics, that we are going to be able to put on maybe 1 or 2 more similar events throughout the year, so that we can find those students with the talent. Because I heard a lot of young people do little cameos, singing and so on, and I was there saying, wow, such a beautiful voice. I heard myself saying that all the time, and I think it's because most times I imagine in my own mind that I could sing, even though it's not really so. I'm one of those persons who, people like to sing in the shower and so on, and they believe they sound just like how the person sounds when they're singing on the tape. I think that is how I imagine it in my mind that I would sound. So when I actually hear a young person who has a voice, and from the time you open their voice and you hear that melodious voice coming out, I that is something that I want to appreciate. And we want to create opportunities and create avenues so that these youngsters who have that light, they have that little light, that we give that light opportunity to shine so that it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So we are looking to develop talent, whether it's talent in dancing, whether it's talent in singing, whether it's playing instruments and so on. We are always looking for those opportunities. So I think the Black History Month concert, it provided a good opportunity for us, and it's going to be a good springboard. So we're saying to the public, look out, because something else is coming pretty soon. I think that's the last word on the concert. Okay, so something else that was very exciting that happened just recently is the LIDC 54, and I will go back to the PS who knows a lot more about LIDC 54 than I know.
All right, so we concluded LIDC 54 last Sunday, and we had a total of 6 teams competing in the 54th annual Leeward Islands debating competition. As we may or may not be aware, it is an annual activity that seeks to have 6 farmers and community colleges across the Leeward Islands participating in a debate competition. The modes and topics are usually selected, and then the teams have the opportunity to prepare. And this year we had the chance to host, and the last time we hosted prior to this was 2017. And in 2017, I think that one was memorable. We won in 2017, and so everyone was looking forward to this activity. I think that we can say that it was indeed a success logistically. Unfortunately, at the end we had the passing of our student who was part of our squad, and Minister Top spoke to that. But prior to that, we had a very engaging debate series, and so we say commendations to all of the teams. And so on the first night,
So what about backing up and talking about the very first day that the students came in?
The very first day that
Which
the
I think
students
was the
came in was,
Wednesday.
yes, the Wednesday night. That was
Yeah.
the cocktail night. I don't know if any of my colleagues made it to the cocktail. The students, after the cocktail, they said that this was the best LIDC ever. Now, the cocktail was the first event. They had just flown in, and they had a whale of a time. They were out there dancing. I saw shoes off. And they say when shoes are off, you know that they're having a good time. They really enjoyed the Premier's cocktail. And I want to say thank you to the Premier's Ministry for and Premier Brantley, Mrs. Brantley, for ensuring that this activity was so successful. It was indeed memorable, and we know Minister Evelyn had to have his time on the floor.
So let me cut in just a little bit on the cocktail, because that was the first night, and it was our opportunity to meet the folks from the other islands. And of course, my whole speech for the next night, the Thursday night, I was supposed to end with, Neve is nice, and then we go into the whole song, Neve is nice. So the Deputy Premier, Honorable Evelyn, goes up to give, an impromptu speech the night of the cocktail, and he's talking, and then he says, well, when you're all ready to leave, remember, Neve is nice. So I laughed to myself, and I said, well, Eric has the speech already, So I guess it's a natural thing for us here in Nevis to say that, Neve is nice, because it is so. And so much so that I went inside the actual park building, and I met some of the staff from, I think they said they were from Anguilla, and they were in there speaking, and I didn't introduce myself as yet. So I came in, and they were just there talking, and they were saying how lovely the atmosphere at the park was, and how nice the whole cocktail setup was, and how good they felt like they were being treated. And they spoke about one or two of the debates, not to call on anybody else, but they spoke about what happened in prior years, and they were saying the hospitality that they were getting on Nevis was far above anything else that they had received before. So, after they said that, then I introduced myself to them. I listened to them first, and then I introduced myself to them.
All right, and then from coming out of the welcome cocktail, because you know me, I'm hyper-focused, so I started with the debates. But coming out of the welcome cocktail, we went straight into the opening ceremony. I think the opening ceremony was epic. It continued the tone, and Minister, I want you to talk about the hallmark part of the. Well, first of all, we had Miss Kimber Prentice coming back, and she rendered the national anthem, and she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had our usual, posting of the flags and all of those things that were admirable. But the hallmark activity for that night, Minister, you're going to talk about it, because you talk about it with the level of enthusiasm.
It was the final performance of
the name is nice,
of course. So again, I want to commend young Miss Prentice, because we heard her the night of the Black History Month concert, and we felt that she was so good that it was important that we brought her back to sing again for the debate, since that was a regional event, and we knew that our live stream would be going all across the region, and we felt that it would be such a blessing that not only us here in Nevis could hear her, but folks regionally could hear her. And she did an excellent job on that national anthem. And then, of course, the final performance was, nothing short of spectacular. I've seen people put it up on Facebook since it happened, but of course we had choir doing our unofficial anthem, Nevis Nice, by King Miko, and then we had the dancers and so on coming around, and it was just well choreographed, well put together. I think when we spoke about it, I said I wanted something really nice, and I think that the team who put it together, they went far above anything that I had expected, and so I want to commend the team, and you would know the team more intimately than me, so you should call their names.
Yes, I will. So we had an entire, I call it a production team. They worked assiduously, and they're actually predominantly teachers. So we had Miss Vanilla Powell, and she worked alongside Miss Noelissa Swaby and Mr. Joseph Alec Williams, and they worked with the students in the choir and the musical arrangements and on all of those components. And then we had Miss Naila Daniel from coordinating on the NCDF front. So she choreographed the dance that went along with the song, and then of course her colleagues had the masquerades and the masquerades coming out of Joyce and Liburd, and we had the cakewalkers coming out of Ivor Walters, and so everything came together very well. And they practiced, let me tell you, they practiced every day for about 2 weeks.
It showed. Every
day for about 2 weeks, and they were serious about this. I also want to commend the chairs of the opening ceremony committee, Miss Ella Wangeshi Powell and Miss Sabrina Orr. They chaired that committee, and they also chaired the opening ceremony.
They also chaired the ceremony and did a wonderful job.
Yes, and the scarves that the choir members wore, those were done by Miss Orr. So we want to say commendations to the entire team for really pulling everything together and bringing the vision to life. They worked really, really hard, and it was impressive. I was blown away. I mean, I knew all of the components, but sitting there, I was very much blown away. It was extremely well executed. The students rose to the occasion, and they surpassed any expectation.
Okay, so on to the debate. So for those in the public who did not follow, maybe we could give an indication of what actually happened at the debates. And Nevis did not win.
No, but we did well. We made it. We made it to the end.
We were in the final, and we were very competitive. But we are gonna come back, and we're gonna win. Sometimes you have to lose to win again.
Definitely, Fantasia said it. All right. So on the and just prior to the opening ceremony, we had the press conference, and we had representation from all the teams, and I think that gave us a sense. Several persons said, "Oh gosh, that island sounds so eloquent. We have to listen out for this island. We have to look out for that island." And so the media team, headed by Mrs. Barrett, worked hard, supported by Miss Ashira Hanley and a few others. They worked hard to make sure that that activity was accomplished. On the first night, following the opening ceremony, we saw Montserrat versus St. Kitts. And they had at the end of that debate, we were able to see Montserrat emerging victorious, and I know that everyone was so excited and elated. What I noticed on that first night, though, was that the method, back in the day when you had debates, they were predominantly factual. And I realized the use of literary language throughout the team, both teams, but Team Montserrat, it was all throughout their debate presentation. And the other thing that stood out is that they had two males. And so Montserrat won that debate with Etienne Udo being adjudged the best speaker. And as I said, very well done, very well executed. So we were so proud of the students who were able to do that on that first night. And maybe it's a good time to also remind the audience, listening and viewing audience, of what the topic was for the first night. The topic for the first night was U.S. deportation policies are a major catalyst for crime in the Caribbean.
So they were talking about Trump deporting
No. No, and they didn't
Deporting
call names, you
people
know.
back to the-
They were
to the
very much,
Caribbean.
very
well,
much.
Well, I know that,
script.
but they were doing a proper debate.
Yes.
But the reality of the debate is they were talking about Trump's policies.
Definitely.
So the public can get a sense that the debaters are debating real topics of real consequence, you know.
And
so
it was so interesting because when they initially got the topics, a lot of these issues were relevant and current, but not as heated. And as time progressed, you realize that they became more and more and more relevant. And by the time the competition came, we were getting fresh information, fresh developments the day before, 2 days before. So we thought that was quite interesting. Then the Friday night, we saw St. Martin versus Anguilla. Ministerial interference in
that was my favorite topic.
Ministerial interference in the public sector undermines good governance in the Caribbean. And Minister Evelyn said that it's not always ministerial interference. Sometimes it's ministerial intervention. So that was my takeaway from that debate. And on that night, Anguilla won with 657 points, and the best speaker came from Team Anguilla in the person of Abigail Campbell. So that was on night debate 2. And then we went into debates 3 and 4, both of which took place on the Saturday night. The first debate was Antigua versus Montserrat, and that topic was the reliance on tourism in the Caribbean region undermines sustainable development. Antigua won that debate, and of course tourism is always a relevant topic when we think about all of our sector, all of our islands being reliant on tourism as our greatest revenue generator, with the exception of, I guess, Anguilla now, who has .ai. But outside of that, most of us depend mostly on tourism. And the best speaker for that debate was Emir Genesis, and they won with a total of 691 points. And that was Antigua. We went straight into the second debate for the evening, and the second debate for the evening was Nevis versus the winner of debate, the previous night's debate, and that topic was regional integration should be prioritized over global alliances, and the previous night's winner was, of course, Anguilla. And so we had that conversation once again, coming out of this topic was presented before, but right after you realize we had that 50th annual general meeting for CARICOM, so you had those activities happening as well, and so it seemed so current and so relevant and so recent.
It was a very current topic.
Very current topic, evolving every week or every day, literally.
And they did speak about Anguilla's .ai.
.ai, yes.
.ai boom.
Yes.
For those in the public who don't know what the .ai is, you know, when you go on the internet, you would go to www.something and you go to .com, and then, you know, for something like a government, you go to .gov, you go to .org if it's a non-profit organization, and here in St. Kitts and Nevis you go to .kn. So you know, when they were given the designations for each different country, Anguilla was very lucky to get .ai as the, you know, the designation for Anguilla, so that belongs to Anguilla. So with everything in the world now going towards AI, every company that wants to get a domain name that ends in .ai, they have to buy that from Anguilla, and they have to pay Anguilla an annual fee for a .ai name. So, you know, if you go back maybe 10-15 years ago, they maybe were making 10,000-15,000 from .ai. But if you fast forward to today, where there's so many AI companies now in the world, they're making to the tune of $40 to $50 million annually, and I'm talking US, from .ai. So I wouldn't call it luck of the draw because their name is Anguilla.
Yes.
So maybe another country whose name started with A might be saying, no, well, I wish I had gotten that AI. But Anguilla is the one who got that AI. We're very happy for them. And so every company now that wants to have a .ai name, they have to pay Anguilla for that domain name.
All right. So, and then of course Nevis won that debate, and we then progressed to the finals. I wanted pause for a cause because in between the finals, there were a few, and I didn't mention that there were social activities throughout. Let me tell y'all, when I looked at the schedule, I said, this is not meant for me. I'm too old for this. These young folks were leaving events at 1 and 2 in the morning and coming back out and doing something all day, and it was a lot. But the cultural night followed debate 4, and each island had the chance to present an item that represented their island. I don't think I'm biased. I loved the presentation from Nevis. It covered everything. It covered the clowns, the masquerade. We had a big steel pan group. It reminded me of the competition in December, the Carnival Steel Pan competition. They were top tier, and so I say commendations to them. And because we talked about the concert,
and these were mostly school age.
They were students,
School
sixth form
age.
students, all sixth form students. And as we talked about the importance of cultural integration and the talents that we see, this resonated there. And I want to pause for a cause, Minister, just to say the band for the opening night, the Nevis Nights performance was also all students. And they were directed by Joseph Alec Williams. He worked with them to get them there. And so we went to church the following morning. And then after church, there was a luncheon. And following the luncheon, went into the final debate, the final night's debate, which was Caribbean governments should provide free tertiary education to citizens up to the undergraduate degree level. Let me tell you, by no stretch of the imagination, this was a tough topic. It was a tough topic if you had to propose it. Because anything free, there's a way, and something that is this costly economically. But I think Team Nevis did well as a proposition. And however, we were edged out by Team Antigua, and they opposed the topic. They opposed very well, and they were able to cop the top spot for the competition. The Leeward Isles Debating Competition 2026, the 54th annual competition. We want to say congratulations to Team Antigua, and their best speaker for the evening was Janika Adams. And let me say, I almost forgot, and I know he would not forgive me if I didn't say this tonight, but from the debate 4, when Nevis won, our best speaker was Mr. Kijari Huggins. And Kijari, kudos to you. Kijari worked hard, and he did an amazing job, and we're so proud of him.
Yeah, he didn't miss a beat.
He didn't miss a beat. And then the overall best speaker was Etienne Udo of Team Montserrat.
Yeah. So I think it's important that we say a big thank you to all of our judges and the moderators and so on. We had a lot of young people going out to moderate, and then of course we had some experience with Abo coming in to moderate also, and the judges. We had a few judges come over from St. Kitts and judges from here on Nevis, and we want to thank them for a job well done. I must say I was a little disappointed in the finals. I was thinking to myself, well, judges were going on. But of course, the judges, they have their job to do. They look at it from an unbiased point of view. The judges at the debates, that's like me going to school sports. Unbiased, and that's me at,
like
that's me at Interprimary, you know. So I think the judges did a wonderful job, and I want to say kudos to all of the teams. Of course, Team Nevis worked really hard, and kudos to Antigua, who came out as the winners. You know, I was able to look on some Antigua social media, and I saw them going back home with the trophies and taking their pictures and so on. And you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about fair competition. It's about the region coming together. You know, they are brothers and sisters, and so it's important that we can come together and, you know, form those bonds, have good rivalry.
And the last event was a farewell banquet. And before, you remember at the beginning we talked about the cocktail, and we talked about how much they were enjoying the experience. Well, by the end of the farewell banquet, the staff sponsor stated to our local staff here that we have set the standards so high, they don't know what they're going to do.
Well, of course, I think that banquet was at Four Seasons, right?
It was.
Yeah, and I mean,
the whole week was so high, so I mean, it was just really well executed and well received.
So they definitely can't top that. Debate has come a very long way. I have a little debate story too. Debate has come a really long way. Back in 2000, when I debated, the debate was held at Charleston Secondary School in the hall. And I tell you, I have a lot of respect for the debaters, because I went up and I stood on the stage, and I think I was up there talking for maybe about 10 seconds, and I'm sure nobody heard anything because nothing was nothing was coming out. And you know, it's an opportunity to learn and to grow. So I commend anybody who go out there and debate and so on. It's a good experience. It was a good experience for me, and I know it's a good experience for these young people. It's not easy, and of course it's something that we're gonna try to develop a bit more. Public speaking, I think it's important. One of the things about debate is that it builds the mind, you know, because too often we see people have a difference of opinion and they don't know how to express that difference of opinion. They get into an argument, that argument leads to a fight. Debate teaches you that you can argue a point, but you can see somebody else who has a different point of view. You can see where they're coming from too.
Right.
And when the judge has the final say, then that allows you to realize that maybe your side of the argument is not always the best side of the argument. And I think we as a society can learn from something like that. It's not always our point of view that even though in our mind we believe that we are correct, sometimes, you know, we can have an open mind and see something in a different way. So something like debate, I think it's extremely important for young people so that they can develop in such a way that they can learn how to look at an argument reasonably and, you know, not be irrational about arguing and so on. So I think
before we go,
I
just want to say one last thing. I want to say thank you to the steering committee, the entire team, staff sponsors, everyone who made. I mean, there were several subcommittees, and each subcommittee had a structure, and all of the teachers, and it wasn't teachers just from CSS. We had teachers from GSS. We had teachers from different schools. We had persons from the Department of Education. Different persons working to make sure that this event was a success. And I want to, on behalf of the entire Literary and Debating Society, and they'll have their own chance to say thank you to everyone and those who contributed financially as well to the execution of the event.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark with Troy Liburd and the good folks from the Ministry of Education, Sports, et al. And you know what? I was here thinking that we're going to talk until about 9 o'clock about these things, and then I will go into some politics. But I looked at the time, and it's 10 minutes to 9. And we've only just spoken about the debates. And so we got to get into some more things. And of course, we're going to take as long as it takes, because we have quite a lot of things, quite a lot of different things that are happening. Of course, we are in the month of March, and that means that sports or track and field season is in full swing here on the island of Nevis. And we've had quite a lot of track and field. We've had all the school sports. We've had things like the inter-high here on Nevis. We had things like the Giant Malt relays. Was Giant Malt a relay? Or it was a sport?
A relay.
Giant Malt was a relay, and Jinxing Up was a sport. So we had Giant Malt, we had Jinxing Up, and then just over the past weekend we had the TDC Inter-High, Federal Inter-High, where our schools did really well. So I'm gonna bring in Nicola. You're gonna come in to talk about these sports. Yeah, so you come in and talk about what's been happening in terms of track and field.
Okay, well, Thank you, Minister Liburd. I can speak about the Bank of Nevis Inter-High School Championship that was held right here on Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Inter-High was held on March 7th and 8th at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. We saw Charlestown Secondary School and Gingerland Secondary School competing. At the end of that 2-day championship, Charlestown Secondary School regained the title of champions. However, we should not count out GSS as they became the runners-up and they too performed exceptionally well. So that's the Bank of Nevis High School Championship. For the Giant Malt Relays, that was held in St. Kitts and it was held on January 24th. Again, we must commend Charlestown Secondary School and the Gingerland Secondary School, as Charlestown came second and GSS came third, and they didn't just come up against 4 or 5 schools. They came up against all the secondary schools in St. Kitts as well. So commendations to them. For the Jinxing Up Classics, that was held on February 22nd, CSS was unable to attend this championship. However, the Gingerland Secondary School came second or runners-up for this championship. So that's the Bank of Nevis Inter-High, the Giant Malt Relay Championship, and the Jinxing Up Classics.
Okay. So how would you say the performances of our students have been? And if you could you maybe talk about 1 or 2 of the athletes who have really, given us some standout performances? And what can we look for from these secondary athletes? I know we have the primary school thing that's coming up, our big mini Olympics, but the high school athletes, what can we look forward for these high school athletes?
Well, most definitely, I think we can safely say that the Nevis athletes or the Nevisian athletes, they are trending and they are performing exceptionally well. This is not just being said here on Nevis, but on St. Kitts as well. Commendations to the coaches, of course, the parents, all the supporters. So the Nevisian athletes, it's their time. This is their time, I must say that. Talking about the Bank of Nevis Championship, high school championship, names such as Zion France, Kevin Herbert, Kiara Hanley.
I think I saw Kiara Hanley on the weekend.
Yes,
on St. Kitts. She would have won, I think, 100 meters and a 200 meters. I think I actually had that up on my Facebook or on my status or somewhere. I think she did wonderful over there on St. Kitts, beating everybody. I know I have a lot of Kittitians here on the mark, when we open the lines, you could call in and tell us about your excellent athletes. But we want to big up the Nevisian athletes, of course.
Yes, athletes such as Kaimani Newton, Najib Kelly. We also had,
I think as we spoke about young Newton, I think I was in the stadium and he was running the 800 meter. I think the clock stopped at 148 something for the 800 meters. As somebody who used to try to run the 800 meter, I could tell you that was impressive. I was very much shocked when I saw the flash time on the clock. I think he has qualified for Carifta in the 800 meters, and I think he would have broken the inter-high record in that same race.
Yes, and when we speak of Kaimani Newton and the 800 meter, I must mention that we always see Najib Kelly as well for that same 800 meter, not just for the TDC Inter-High School Championship, but I can remember some years ago for the Nevis Inter-Primary School Championship, it was an intense race between both of them. So Najib Kelly as well.
And I think Najib has qualified for Carifta in the 1500 meters.
Correct.
Yeah, so both of those are 2 exceptional athletes who should be heading off to Carifta when that squad is finalized for Carifta, but we know that they have the qualifying time. I think there was a race for Inter-High also where I saw a 400 meter, and I was actually very surprised by the 400 meter. I think it was the same young Newton who was running alongside Hendrickson.
Jaden Hendrickson.
And Hendrickson had won the 200 earlier in the afternoon, and then he came back for the 400 meter, and that 400 meter was a battle right to the line between the two of them, and I think it was a record too.
Yes.
Yes, I want to think that it was a record to young Hendrickson who would have gotten the nod. I was actually very surprised because I expected to see a little bit of distance between Hendrickson and Newton. So I think the athletes, they really showed out well on St. Kitts. And I think another race that stood out for me, because I watched the races, was Prentice for the 100 meters. And I think that was a record also. I think she got out ahead of Deschanel.
Yes, Thomas.
and Deschanel is somebody who has been a top athlete, you know, in the federation over a sustained period of time. And you know, I think Prentice got out front, and she stayed out front and got in record time also. And she also is a qualifier for the Carifta.
Yes.
So we have quite a lot of Carifta qualifiers here on Nevis, and I guess it's a testament to the hard work that the coaches are putting in. It's a testament to the type of programs that we have going here on the island of Nevis, and it's a testament also to the the vision in putting in the facility that we have at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. Sometimes we get a lot of flack saying that the stands are not in, but the children are running in the stands. Of course, I want to get them in, but I mean, it's going to have to happen when we have the resources to put them in. And I know oftentimes people meet me and they talk about it, and I tell them, it is true. I agree with you. I don't want to be sitting on the metal stands. We want to all be sitting in cushy, comfortable chairs with the roof on and all of that. But the thing is that it is on the track that the actual thing is happening, and we are seeing from the performances of our students that on the track is really working.
Yes, and not only on the track, because I do think we have some athletes here on Nevis who qualified for field events as well. We have athletes such as, off the top of my head, I can think about Malik Freeman. I think javelin and shot put. We have Kezia Phillip. We have, what's her name, Janaya McNeil. We also have Dejon Pemberton. All of these athletes did qualify for field events. So we have all-rounders as it relates to track and field, track events and field events. So commendations to all of these athletes.
And I think that's important too, because we did some coaching clinics recently in field events and so on, and we have our first qualifier for hurdles. Yeah, I think Jaden Hendrickson would have qualified in the 400 meter hurdles. It's often said that the 400 meter hurdles is the most difficult race in track and field. So kudos to him and good luck to him, but they're young, they have the energy, and we would want to support them as much as we possibly can. We have young people with a lot of natural talent, and once you add training to that natural talent, we can see them going really far. I think on the track and field, while we're on track and field, before we come off, this is a little bit off of school track and field, but it is still well within the realm of our ministry, because recently we had the other Newton, the older Newton, Kamali Newton, who went off to Jamaica, and he is now going to be doing a training stint for, I think, 3 months with Coach Glenn Mills. And for those who don't know, Coach Glenn Mills is the same coach who would have looked over the career of Usain Bolt, who we know is the world's greatest sprinter. So we have young Newton and another sprinter from St. Kitts, Liburd, who is, they're both in Jamaica now, training with the camp of racers, with the Racers Track Club. And they are training with the likes of world champion, the most recent world champion in the 100 meters oblique civil, and the former world champion in the 400 meters. The name is eluding me right now, but I know he's in that camp also. World 400 meter champion. He used to be big at champs, running the 200 and the 400, but he's with Glen Mills now, and he's when I remember the name, I'll call the name. But he's also in that camp. And one of the things that I want to say is that Mr. Newton's study is being paid for by in large part, or in most part, by our ministry here on Nevis, by the Ministry of Education and Sports et al., or by the Nevis Island Administration. On the other side, the stay for young Mr. Liburd, who is also an exceptional athlete, he's being paid for by the Olympic Committee. I would want to hope in the future that some of the athletes from Nevis could get access to some of that Olympic Committee money also. I would want to think that, when we are looking to send athletes on the federation, that, if there's money out there from the Olympic Committee, because that's not government money, that's money coming in from the International Olympic Organization and so on, through our local Olympic Committee, that some of the money be made available also for the Nevis athlete. I mean, it can't be fair by any stretch of the imagination that, one athlete is going to go funded by the Olympic Committee, and then the other athlete, for that athlete to go, we got to say, well, Nevis Island Administration, come up. Of course, we are always happy to come up and support our athletes. We do that day in and day out. Of course, we pay for the boats and so on for some of our clubs to go over to St. Kitts to participate, whether it is in football, in cricket, in basketball. I think we had basketball when was it? On Saturday night? We had basketball on Saturday night in St. Kitts. One of the teams that's sponsored by the Department of Sports. I think that team is in the final. I'll get some more information and come back and talk about that. But we're on track and field still. I got a little bit sidetracked because I wanted to talk about Newton, and I want to wish both him and Chesson. And I think his mom works at Charlestown Secondary School. So, it's all love on all sides. Young Liburd is an exceptional athlete. I think he's just out of school now, and so we are looking to see both him and Kamali what they can do once they get that training from world-renowned coach Glen Mills. We hope that they would be able to go far, and we are looking at maybe St. Kitts and Nevis once again getting a relay team, like back when we had Kim Collins and people like our very own president of the SKN Athletics, Delwayne and those guys used to go out and represent us on the international stage. So we are looking to get back into that. So we have anything else on track and field? Mr. Newton, you want to come in on track and field?
I don't know if you want to leave Interprime till last. No? Yeah, I think we could leave Interprime till last.
Okay, so we're going to go somewhere else and then come back to Interprime. So where do you suggest that we...
Well, I know that just yesterday we concluded the series of sports that included primary school, secondary school, and preschool. So we concluded with Charlestown Preschool yesterday.
So our preschool sports. So talk a little bit about our preschool sports, because they are the future.
Well, I think I only got to attend one preschool sports, and preschoolers always bring entertainment, and a highlight of the preschool sports is when the parents want to show themselves, and somebody would fall down here and there,
as usual.
And Newton's team leads the preschool program.
Right, it would be remiss of me to hear guys speaking about the preschool sports and not speak to the hard work that the guys at the Department of Sports been putting in. Of course, we are in just about every single preschool in the Federation running the program and also leading where the different sports days are concerned. So I must say kudos to the guys at the sports department for putting in the excellent work. Of course, the different schools would have sent their thank yous. They are very pleased with their work ethic and their commitment towards developing the sports within the preschools.
Okay, so see what I'm going to do. We're going to continue to talk about different things, but this is a call-in show, right? So I want to give if there are people out there listening, I would want to give an opportunity if anybody wants to call in and congratulate somebody or to ask a question, that they have that opportunity, because I don't want us to take the whole show and not take any calls, because of course this is a show where we want to interact with the public. So we're going to open the lines now, and the numbers to call are 869-469-1616 or 1700. So we'll continue to talk, and then when we have a call we can go to the call and hear what our callers have to say. So, where do you see us going from here?
We can speak all things sports.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mr. Minister, I think one of the mistakes that you would have made is to probably think that you could cover all the things that sports department is doing in 2 hours. The next time that we come here, you ask for 3 hours. The Department of Sports is not arguably, but the most active ministry within the government. We are purposefully active, building champions for sports and life, and of course the PS is next to me and she would want me to speak to the holistic development part.
Thank you.
Whilst I'm here, and before I get too far, I want to say good morning. It sounds odd, but good morning to my good friend and boss, Mr. Jamia Claxton, who is currently in Asia, Indonesia, with the Singles and Leavers national team. Of course, he's the Allen Key in the team. He's playing the role of manager right now. Also with him is Dr. Duana Pemberton and Jalen Miles, who is there as a player. They are competing in what FIFA is calling the FIFA series. A couple of matches out there in Indonesia. They are very far away. I want to wish them well. We know that they're going to go out there and be excellent ambassadors for the country. Sports department, of course, I still want to touch on cricket. We currently have some 7 youngsters in Antigua who were trying out for the U15 Leeward Islands cricket team. I would have been lucky enough to see them off Monday morning early, and I am happy to report that out of the 7 that would have traveled, all 7 would have made the team, with Caris Farrell being the captain. And if you would allow me, Caris Farrell is the captain, Nicholas Hero, Aiden Williams, Demari Prentice, Deshaun James, Kamani France, and Ryan Merchant. All of them would have made the team. I think that is worthy.
I didn't even have that information when I came here, so I'm very happy.
Okay. Well, he has to say who Caris Farrell is.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that I'm very happy that all 7 of them would have made the team, and I know Stuart Williams would have traveled with them,
right,
as a team mentor, and I think Rudy would be very happy
proud,
because Rudy has made Caris Farrell very famous here in Nevis. You know, when he's running on the track, you always hear Rudy saying Bolo is coming, and so maybe Bolo doesn't come first on the track. But he's an excellent cricketer, and it's showing now. So now he's a captain of the Leeward Islands under 15 cricket team. That's excellent. That's wonderful.
So Bolo would have let me know that during track and field season he used it to maintain some level of fitness for cricket. Right. So these youngsters are slated to take part in a couple of matches from the 27th of March to the 6th of April. So we want to wish them.
And where those matches going to be?
In Antigua.
Okay.
In Antigua. So
interesting.
We want to wish them all the best.
I need to put that on my calendar to even go and watch one of those games.
And as we await the line, the Department of Sports is also going into its Easter programs. We will be having an Easter cricket camp from the 7th of April to the 17th of April. Age range 6 to 14, both male and female. We are encouraging you to send your kids to this camp. This camp will not just only be about cricket, but of course, as I mentioned, the holistic development of the boy and girl child. And if you're looking to get your kid into the Leeward Island setup and to the next Carries Farrell, here's the place that you would really want to,
I like how you said
to send them. Right. Also, this weekend, I must make mention of the cross-channel swim. My good friend Miss Jane Hanson would have sent me a message, and she's letting me to know that over 500 international swimmers would have made their way to Nevis, and of course that is excellent for sports tourism. I must congratulate Jane for the excellent work that she's doing. Of course, the Ministry of Tourism, they're not just coming here to take part in the swim. We are lucky enough to have...
So for somebody who doesn't know what the cross-channel swim is, explain it a little bit for them.
Right, so the cross-channel swim will start at Wally Beach, Nevis, and end at the nearest point in sync is at, remind me of the beach?
It's close to it, Spice Mill?
To Spice Mill,
yeah.
Right, we call it Reggae Beach, Reggae Beach?
Yeah.
Right, we call it Reggae Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the closest point is 2 miles. The swim should take, for the better ones, approximately an hour and 55 minutes. For those who aren't so fast, they should arrive just about close to 11 o'clock. It starts at 8. What I was also getting at is they're not just coming to swim. They will be engaging in a number of development sessions. As you have mentioned, we are having one Miss Alice Deming from Deering, sorry. She's a United Kingdom Olympic swimmer, and she will be coming here to do a session which is concerned with motivation and communication with a set of athletes in all different sporting areas at the Jessup Community Center. And we want to thank the Ministry of Tourism for coordinating with us and ensuring that something like this could take place.
Definitely, that coordination between government entities is important. And as you said, sports tourism is something that we often don't talk about enough. Those 500 persons who are coming to swim, I'm very sure that they're not coming alone. So it means that there's a spillover effect. It means that if each person walks with a support, 1 or 2 persons to support them, we probably might have 1,500 people here easily coming in for this event. So it's not just sport, it's also bringing in people into the island, bringing revenue into the island. So that's something that all of us could be interested in. And for those who have not had an opportunity to witness the cross-channel swim, it might be a good thing to come out and see what they're doing. Maybe we could make some videos and post them for the general public to have an idea of what goes into the cross-channel swim. I don't think I could make it maybe the first 200 meters, much less to go all the way across the Narrows. So I want to wish all of those persons good luck. And I understand that we have some young persons from Nevis who are going to be taking part in that swim also. I think young Truss and those guys are big time swimmers.
Austin Williams. A couple of them should be taking part.
Yeah, so we have some young swimmers who are good enough to make it across the channel. I'll go across in a boat. But kudos to all of those who will be making the swim.
Right. And I didn't want to just skip past. I want to pedal back a little bit. We have 7 cricketers making the 15 team. Mr. Minister, instantly my mind run on the fact that we have 7 former West Indies cricketers. So I'm hoping it's a situation where the stars are aligning and we are well on our way on developing our 8 and our 9 and our 10 is sometime now. We need to see. We need to see the next set of cricketers coming through. We've been putting in some work. Minister, of course, the Department of Sports have been investing heavily, and very shortly we will be launching our cricket academy. We would have been able to source. Matter of fact, all of the equipment is here already.
We have a caller.
Sorry.
Caller, you're our first caller for this evening. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Minister Liburd.
Good evening, sir. How are you? I was going to talk about agriculture, forgive me. We got a lot of sports to talk about. So.
This one, I ain't called to rain on your parade, but you did invite callers, right?
Yes, come
and I want
in.
to say good night to you and good night to your 3 heavyweights here tonight. You all are doing an extraordinary job. Panelists, good night to you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Fantastic. And I'm going to try to be as quick as possible because I know Mr. Newton has a lot on his plate to discuss, right? But I just wanted to once again congratulate you, Minister Liburd, and P.S. Clarkson and her team for an extraordinary job with the debating competition, the Leeward Islands debating competition. I think everything was so well organized and so well executed. So congratulations once again. I enjoyed all of the debates. Fortunately, I went every night, and everything went well. And of course, your 2 folks there from the Department of Sports also doing an extraordinary job. Of course, this being sports season, and I know they're gonna go all out for inter-primary. Minister Liburd, I wanted to quickly extend condolences to the family of the late Floyd Harris and the family of the late Charlene Huggins. And of course, we know that, as you would have indicated at the top of the show, they were 2 of our stalwarts, and we will miss them dearly, and we want to let the family know that we are here for them. I wanted to discuss 2 little things tonight quickly. And first and foremost, I will be having my annual white goods cleanup this Saturday, the 28th of March. I think this is about the 6th year that I'm doing this, and of course it is to discourage people from doing indiscriminate dumping. And so those persons in the St. George's area who have white goods, your old refrigerators, stoves, washing machines, and so on, television, you can dispose of them free of cost. Free of cost to you, but not free of cost to me. I'm happy to be doing this for my constituents every year. And so we will have the 5 bins at the 5 usual locations at Clegot, at Rollins, at Hanley's Road, that's above the Wesleyan Holiness Church, at Matchman's, and at Hickman's. And we normally have truckers to service all of the bins. So I'm going to quickly call the truckers and their contact numbers. For the bin at Clegot, the contact person is Mr. Tyrone Polo Morton, and his number is 660-2212. For the Rollins area, the contact person is Mr. Philip Walters. His contact information is 669-3707. For the Hanley's Road and the Matchman's areas, Teshron Maynard, 664-1288. For the Hickman's bin, the contact person is Mr. Junior Mulcair, 668-1290. And of course, if you contact any of these folks and you cannot get them, you can always contact me as well, 662-6043, 663-8941, and I can always relay the information to them. And so that will be taking place this coming Saturday. The guys normally start early. They'll be going on probably until after midday. And so if you have white goods, please do not be afraid to make the call to get your white goods taken to the landfill for free. Of course, Minister Liburd, the other thing I wanted to quickly speak about is the Agri Expo, that massive event that is taking place tomorrow and Friday at the ETW Park in the heart of Charlestown. We are hosting it this year. As I said, it's the 30th anniversary. We're hosting under the theme Rooted in History.
It's a big year.
You were saying something, Minister
I said it's
Liburd?
a big year, 30.
It's a massive year, 30 years. Our theme, Rooted in History, utilizing Land and Sea Agri Expo 30. And we are holding it under the patronage of one of our former workers, Mr. Mario Rutherford Liburd. Now, Minister Liburd, this evening I would have been to the site. I would have gone there, spent a couple hours there, got there after 5, didn't leave there until probably minutes to 8, and I mean, I can say that the buzz is already there. I am already very excited. The layout looks exceptional, and it's amazing because last year we had registration of 87 vendors. This year we have 147 vendors. So we have an additional 60 over last year. I don't know how my team got it done, but they've worked the magic, and so it's really going to be an awesome event taking place tomorrow and Friday, and we want people to really come out in their numbers. I would have been there. I would have been talking and conversing with a lot of the persons, some of the first-time persons who are coming for the first time, and they're really very excited as well. And so I just wanted to quickly highlight, tomorrow we have an opening ceremony beginning at 9:30. It should end within an hour, and so we are expecting persons to be there for the opening ceremony at 9:30. We'll have our usual livestock raffle. This year we're raffling a cattle, a bull or a heifer. It's only $10. Tickets will be available on the grounds. And we also raffling this year a rabbit. You can get either a doe or a buck. And apart from getting the rabbit, you also get housing with the rabbit, and you also get a bag of feed. And that is also only $10. The drawing will be done on the final day, which is on the Friday. This year, because it's our 30th anniversary, we are doing things a little different. We actually had a mini parade through the streets of Charlestown this past Friday. We have, on Friday afternoon, we have a fashion show called dubbed Agri Couture, and it's focusing on fashion and culture and sustainability, and that would be from 5 to 7 on the Friday evening, and it's costing only $25. You're going to get a little VIP experience. If you buy a ticket for $25, you can purchase your ticket at the gate, or you can purchase it, as I say, you can purchase your ticket at the gate, because tickets would have been on sale prior to the event tomorrow. But if you haven't gotten your ticket, you can purchase your ticket at the gate. We'll have the usual domino competition, and I just wanted to also quickly highlight our demonstrations, which are normally a hit for the open day, the exhibition, the Agri Expo. On Thursday, we have a demonstration of rabbit pie that will be done by Chef Cressy Stanley at 12:30, and then we have a food sampling of pumpkin and cinnamon cheesecake at 1:30, also by Cressy Stanley. Of course, we know she's from Hermitage, and we know Hermitage is famous for the rabbit pie.
She from Coal Hill.
I mean, from the Hermitage Hotel.
I know that, but I got a claim from Coal Hill. She's my neighbor.
Of course, we know that Hermitage is famous for the rabbit pie, right? We also have something called Pastel in Oya, and that will be done by Chef Maria, and that will be at 3 p.m. Our technical demonstration for Thursday, we have application of pesticide and best practices. That will be done at 10:30, and that will be done by Marketing Arm International. We have some folks coming in from Trinidad. They will be doing that demonstration. And then on the Friday, we have Aki and stalled fish. That will be done by Chef Jody Titley at 10:30 a.m. We have Conch Ceviche to be done by Chef Levi Daniel of the Golden Rock Hotel. That will be done at 12 noon. We have, this one is interesting, very interesting, Minister Liburd. I know you're going to love to hear this one. Pork preservation using salt. And this will be done by Calvin and Candice. And of course, we know when we were growing up, we used to hear a lot about corn pork, right? So this is what this is going to be all about. And they're going to be actually having vacuum sealed corn pork available for sale. And at 1:30, they will also be having the sampling of cook up with corn pork and pigeon peas. So we're going back to the good old days. Right, Minister Lai, but I believe you'll want to try that cook up with the pork.
Well, I'll try the cook up without pork. Maybe you can put in some mutton.
You know, I'm only teasing you with that one. And then we also have the Nivision conch curry with pumpkin, plantain, and coconut topping. That will be done by Chef Xavier Phillip from the Four Seasons Resort, and that will be at 2 p.m. And the technical demonstration on Friday will be on biostimulants, also to be done by Marketing Arm International. So all in all, things are shaping up very well. We're expecting a bumper crowd on both days. We have excellent entertainment on both days. And so I'm inviting all to come out in your numbers. It will be a massive showing, an excellent showing. All things agriculture will be on display. And so we're expecting the whole of Nevis and St. Kitts, of course, to be there. We have our usual big contingent from Statia who will be coming. We have one of the ministers of agriculture from Anguilla who is already here with two other persons. We have an official coming from St. Martin, and so the event continues to attract persons from the sub-region and I really want to say kudos to the staff for doing a marvelous job so far, and we look forward to an excellent Agri Expo tomorrow and Friday. Minister Liburd, thank you very much.
Minister Evelyn, before you go, right?
Yes.
Let me tell you, the way this thing sound to me, like over the next 2 days, everybody in Nevis need to be in the park for Agri Expo.
Absolutely.
This thing sound like a jam pack next 2 days, almost like you are on a holiday. It seems so.
And this is something we look forward to
yes,
every year.
It seems like that's where it's happening.
And yes, and it's going to be an excellent showing.
Thank you very much, sir. You're
Thank you
listening
for the time. And panelists, I apologize for taking some of your time.
No, not
Have
at
a
all.
good night, folks.
Not at all, because I don't think we could have advertised this Agri Expo in the same way that you just did. Not at all. Not by a long shot.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Have a good night.
You have a good night, too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. We are 25 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. We are having a really good show tonight, bringing a lot of good information. That was Minister Eric Evelyn just calling in, of course, to give you some pertinent information. I don't know where he finds the energy, because after that Agri Expo, I don't know where he can get energy to go deal with white goods. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. We work hard for the people. So that's Minister Deputy Premier Eric Evelyn speaking about the Agri Expo. It sounds like a packed 2 days, packed event. I mean, I don't know. The way how that thing sounded just now, it looked like on the hour, every hour, something is going to be happening. There's something important, something that you're going to want to get. I mean, I'm not into the corn pork. For those who are into the corn pork, you know, I think it's a good opportunity to go there and learn how to do it, because they're going to be showing you how to do it. So I have with me here folks from the Ministry of Education, Sports et al. And we will get back now to the conversation. I think we were talking a little bit about sports, the director of sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Was
P.S. What would be the mood that Agriculture Expo rivals Interprimary?
Well, I think it's a different crowd, a different space, but there is no competition. So.
Okay. Okay.
Well, since we're
Evelyn tried.
we're piggybacking off of the Agri Expo, is it safe to say that Education Department will have a booth at Agri Expo,
Right.
and we'll have tickets on sale for the upcoming Inter-Primary Schools Championship?
That's where everybody's going to be. So we want you all to come out and take advantage of the early bird.
Last
Yes.
day on Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on Friday.
Yes.
And what are the prices for the tickets? Do we have the
Well,
prices for
I'll
the
share the early bird ticket
Okay.
prices. So do show up at the Agri Expo on Thursday and Friday, and you can get adult tickets at a cost of $20. High schoolers get their tickets for $15. Primary schoolers $10, and inside parking just a mere $35. So these are the ticket prices. Show up and show out at the Agri Expo this Thursday and Friday, and look for the Department of Education booth.
Make sure you come out. Make sure you buy your early bird ticket. You get the ticket cheaper. You come out and you enjoy our mini Olympics next week, Wednesday. So what do we have next, Director Newton?
Of course, before the good minister called in, I was speaking to the Elite Academy that we would have started. We would have started in November, of course, with the hopes of then branching into our full academy again. We would have invested heavily in ensuring that these kids are well equipped, the schools are well equipped, and of course after the track and field season we branch into the Ronako Mountain TDC cricket tournament. So whilst we are actively
So you say you just said that we invested. So
Right.
give the public a little idea of what some of the investment has been, because I know that we just received a big shipment of cricket gear. So
Right.
maybe you can give the public a little idea of what the department is doing in terms of investing in cricket for
Right,
our
so
young people.
So we would have invested in just about everything that is needed to play the game. We would have invested in bats, pads, tips, the full works. So we're saying every single individual that will be coming to this academy will be fully equipped. And of course, cricketing gears are not cheap, I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Colin Archibald, that's Kezron. It is his agent that we would have went through, and of course, we would have gotten some little deals. But there's no going around the price. The equipment would have traveled from, I think, India. And now we are rearing and ready to go. So just shortly, the general public would see what we've been quietly working on.
So I think we would have equipped all of the. We have some gear that's going to each one of the schools.
Every single one of the primary schools.
Okay, would be getting some amount of cricket gear.
Right.
Okay.
Full gear, that is.
Wonderful, wonderful. I know I saw the bills, so
I didn't want to speak to the bill. I didn't want to get ahead of myself.
I know I saw the bills, so I know that this is some serious investment in cricket, and again, you said that we use the contacts that we got from young Mr. Archibald, who is one of our officers at the Department of Sports, and he's also a cricketer. He goes to the US, he goes to different places, and he plays on the different franchise. So he would have, gotten to know people, and so he would have leveraged that for us to go out and purchase some equipment. So the equipment are coming straight from India, and as we know, India is cricket. In India right now, when it comes to cricket, India is where it's at, and so we are getting them at a reasonable price from India. Of course, we would have shipped them to Miami, and then from Miami to here, and it's a whole lot of big boxes of gears, and so the boxes of gears will be going to the various schools. So we are really investing in our young people, and we're investing in all of the sports. And as you all would have said earlier, sports is just a part of the holistic development of the youth, and so we're doing a lot in sports. So you could continue to talk about the cricket.
Yes, I was also saying that we would have started in November. I would want the general public to know that we have very capable coaches who are leading on this venture. The coaches include Mr. Keith Atherton,
former West Indies player.
Right. Carly,
former West Indies player again.
Kezron Archibald.
Okay, almost a West Indies player.
I think he would have represented West Indies ARB at one point in time.
Yes.
Coach Sharma.
Yes.
And Coach
also
Sharma,
an accomplished player.
Coach Sharma also would have represented West Indies in West Indies under 19 at some point in time. So some very capable.
And I know he has been to the UK several times.
Right. So we really have men in maroon unearthing future men in maroon. So the Department of Sports, as we say, continues to champion the cause in ensuring that we could build champions for sports and life. And as the time goes, I would want to give Ms. Fraser as much opportunity as possible to let us know about the patrons and so on for Interprime. So I won't take up any more time.
Well, I think we should talk about the football a little bit, because we didn't mention the mini football pitch.
Right.
So I know that there's been a little bit of talk about some work that has been going on in the vicinity of the Nevis Athletic Stadium, the Mondo track. People have driven over there, and they have asked, well, what is it that is being built there? But what it is a mini football arena. So the ministry would have been approached by the SKN FA through the president, Mr. Atiba Harris, and I want to say kudos to Mr. Atiba Harris, because I can personally attest that since Mr. Harris has been the president of the SKN FA, that he has at every point tried to cultivate a good working relationship with us in the Ministry of Sports here at Nevis. I can talk about our FIFA Schools initiative,
right,
that we entered into an MOU with them recently for the football in the schools initiative, and then now this mini football pitch. The idea came from Mr. Harris, who they were getting a mini football pitch over on St. Kitts, and he said he thought it would be a good idea for us to get one here in Nevis, and I asked if we would be able to accommodate the base and all of that so that the guys could come in and do the football pitch. I immediately took it to the cabinet, and the cabinet were very, excited at the opportunity, and so that is what we started to construct. And then I think 2 weeks ago we had the gentlemen coming from FIFA. They were coming from Holland.
Holland, right?
Well, actually they are originally from Holland, but they were coming from the BVI, where they were constructing a full-size football pitch similar to the one that the SKNFA has over on St. Kitts up in the Monkey Hill area.
Technical Center.
The Technical Center. They were constructing a full-size one in the BVI, and then they came to the Federation, did the one on St. Kitts, and then they came over to Nevis and did the one over here on Nevis. And so now it's up there at the track, and so everybody can now see exactly what it is. It provides an opportunity for our young people to now have a place where they could play football. It's a nice, small, safe space, and I'm told that the mini football pitches, they allow the young people to develop more control, and so on, having to play in a tighter
area.
They develop more control of the ball and so on, and it's also an area for them to practice drills and so on in a safe, enclosed environment. So I want to say thanks to the SKNFA. We're happy for the partnership, and a special thanks to Atiba Harris. I like working with Atiba because oftentimes we say federation and things happen on one island and not on the next. No pun intended to anybody, but that's just the reality of how things happen sometimes. And I think having somebody like Atiba there, he always takes pains to call and to say, we are doing this and we want you guys to be involved. As you would know, we have quite a lot of young footballers, and they go over to St. Kitts regularly for to practice with squads and so on. We have under I think it's under 15. We also have the girls, and this ministry, we facilitate it. We normally pay for the boat fees and so on, so that our athletes could go over and be a part of the practice sessions and so on. So we are happy now that we have a facility on Nevis where some of that practice can happen on Nevis, so that there will be access for more athletes, not just the ones who are exceptional, who get picked to go over and be a part of these high performance sessions, but it would be opened up to more of our young athletes. So it's a good opportunity. So for those in the general public who did not know what it was, now you know what it is. It's not a football field up in the sky, as some were saying. It's a mini football arena, and it actually puts us in the position to be able to do a few other things that the Department of Sports is already looking at.
Just to add, Minister, this mini pitch also at this place on position in St. Kitts and Nevis is the first two in the Caribbean. To my understanding, is the first two in the Caribbean. And of course, Atiba would like the general public to know, and it charms on saying that he's a Gingerlander. So I am certain when they are commissioned, he's going to bring it up, and we want to say kudos to him for always remembering us.
I think we can go to the inter-primary now.
Yes, most definitely.
We only have 20 minutes more.
Okay, so the inter-primary, the Nevis Primary Schools Championship, or the Gulf Insurance Nevis Primary School Championship, takes place on Wednesday, April 1st. That's next week, Wednesday. This year's championship, if my memory serves me right, I would think it's the 35th year of the inter-primary. This year, we are pleased to have the patrons from the Ivor Walters Primary School in the names of Andre Liburd. Some persons may know him as Leon Powell, and Kevany Richards, then Kevany Bartlett. So Kevany Bartlett Richards and Mr. Andre Liburd are our patrons for the Nevis Primary Schools Championship. and they hail from the Ivor Walters Primary School, or the then Prospect Primary School.
And both of them are from Brown Hill. Mr. Liburd is a person we would know as Red Out. Yeah. When I went to school, I knew him as Leon Powell. Very good athlete. So it's amazing that everybody has an official name. I don't use mine a lot, so so I would know.
Well, before we dive into the day of competition, I want to speak a bit about the press briefing, or as we call it, the media day. And this would be held on March 31st, so that's the Tuesday. That's next week Tuesday.
Okay.
And it would be held at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, beginning at 9:30. At this event, you would hear from not only the panel and what will take place at the competition, but you would hear also from the athletes. So we'll be having an interview, a short interview with the athlete, something we dub conversations. So look forward to that. That's next week Tuesday, and it would be aired live on the Department of Education YouTube and Facebook page.
So what are some of the things that we can look forward to this year at Interprimary? I know Interprimary is the single biggest one-day event on the island of Nevis. The only thing that comes kind of close to Interprimary is last lap, the parade, and the parade is free. You just walk into town. Interprimary you pay, and you come into the park. So it is the marquee event here on the island of Nevis. That's what people really look forward to. I now have teenage children, so I understand that you have to buy a whole new wardrobe because these young people nowadays. So it's also a fashion show. Young people now, they want a whole new suit to go to Interprimary. They want new shoes, new pants. I even understand bag and so on. I don't get it. So it is a big day for us here on Nevis. So what are some of the things that we could look forward to on that big day?
Well, for the general public, you might be asking, well, what time does Interprimary begin? I want to inform you that we begin with the March Pass and opening ceremony at 11 a.m. And if you're not present, I would want you to tune in, because it would be a March Pass and opening ceremony with a difference. So tune in and look to see exactly what we have in store for you. So that's 11 a.m. Next week, Wednesday.
And remember, you have to come early or tune in early, because remember our opening ceremony for Interprimary is very short. I normally give the world's shortest speech at that time. So definitely we want people to come out early and support, and come out in your colors. But also we would want, I love the competition at Interprimary. I really love it. I love part of the rivalry, but I like when we keep the rivalry at, let's say, about 80. I don't like when we dial it up to 100 where it gets really, really hot. Right. I like when we keep it at 80, and we need to remember that it's about the children. It's about competition. Too often we have parents who get, fans get kind of heated with one another, and so we want to keep that part out of it. The rivalry is definitely good, but let that rivalry be on the track. I know we can look out for some big competition on the track. I know everybody wants to see their athletes really excel. Everybody wants to see their school winning. So
well, for sure, I want to indicate the schools that would be participating in this year's competition. We have the Charlestown Primary School Tigers, CPS Tigers. We have the St. Thomas's Primary School Jaguars, the Violet Ogenicals Primary School Blue Dragons, the St. James Primary Thunders, the Joycelyn Liburd Primary Falcons, the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School Lions, the Ivor Walters Primary School Mustangs, the Nevis Academy Eagles, the Maud Cross Preparatory Eagles, and we also have Montezuri Academy. So we have 10 schools participating in this year's championship. Okay, the Montessori Academy Monarchs.
You know,
Butterfly.
I have a little observation. I realize that in naming the mascots for all of these schools, the animals and so, it's always animals that are not present here on Nevis. I mean, why we can't have one of the schools saying, well, they want to be the white birds, or they want to be the pelicans, or what else we have?
Don't say monkeys.
No. But you know, it's always the lions or the tigers, you know. But those animals are not indigenous to Nevis, so maybe you know we could think about trying some of the indigenous animals. We could look for something fierce, you know. But you know, that's just a little light moment. But I really look forward to seeing the competition on the track. It sounds as though we have more than the regular amount of schools. All the private schools are involved. So how are we going to be rationalizing that?
My colleagues would share on that.
That's a very interesting twist, Minister. I really don't know. I would show a little bit of the flyover and the PSSP because she's the one who's responsible for the schools, but I'm not sure. Everybody wants to be fierce, and I guess they are going for the fiercest animals in the Amazon. So I really don't know what to make of that. However, though, we are in the height of the interprimary, or the track and field season, and next is the interprimary, and it would be remiss of me to not speak to the hard work that the coaches have been putting in. I've been seeing them. They've been working very hard, not just now, from since very early in the year, and I've been privy to going to all of the different sports days on the island, and all of them, I must say, was very competitive, and I am certain that this year we will be having a very competitive inter-primary meet. I am asking the general.
So let me show you on the spot. Since you went to all of the school sports, you would be in a good position to say, how is it looking this year? Who looking like they're gonna be improving their position? Who looking like they're gonna be winning?
I am not a betting man, but what I can tell you, is I am looking forward again for all of the schools to medal at the inter-primary meet.
I think that happened last year for the first time, right? That every single school won a medal.
Right, and I'm looking for them to repeat this year. That's me. Yes, you wish to chime in?
Well, what component would you like me to speak a bit more to? I know that, like Ms. Fraser said, an early start time, high competition throughout, and we want to encourage the public to get the early bird tickets, because you know we have this culture that we start to say, oh, tickets expensive, so we're giving a chance for patrons to get their tickets by Friday, and then the prices will bump up. And Fraser hasn't told you those prices yet, so we'll
well, I think that inter-primary is so inexpensive.
It is.
When
you can buy tickets for yourself.
When you look at flyers for every event that's happening on Nevis now, flyers for events are $40 and $50 and so on for a little small event that lasts 2 hours. This thing is going to go from 11 o'clock in the day until maybe 7 in the evening, and it's going to be non-stop action from start to finish. It's going to be the most exciting day on Nevis. So you know, it's only $20. I think it's a giveaway. In terms of the logistics, getting in the gates and so on, have we sorted out, you know, what will be the route into the park? Which gates will the general public use? How will they do the driving in and so on? Have we figured all of that logistic out?
All of that logistic is sorted, and we'll share more information at the press briefing indeed. But for now, I can state that the regular gates, that's gates 2 and 3, will be entrances for those patrons who are walking. However, gate 6 will be for vehicles that wish to enter the facility. I'm going to share the general cost of the tickets. If you're not an early bird, but on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, wherever you find tickets on sale, the tickets would cost adults $25, high schoolers $20, primary schoolers $15, and the inside parking would be $40. I know that the tickets are cheap, but I know that we here maybe want to give away some tickets tonight. I think we can buy some tickets and give them away. Maybe we have some questions we want to ask if someone wish to call in.
Or tonight you have questions to give away?
Questions are easy to create.
Okay, so how many tickets you're gonna? We have 10 minutes. You know, we could probably give away 2 minutes. So if you're out there and you're listening, so you have a question that you want to ask, and for us to get a caller.
Name the patrons. Start off with the easy one.
Easy one.
Who are this year's patrons for
Okay.
And which school did they
So if we have anybody out there who's listening and they could call in and tell us the 2 patrons
and the school they represent.
and the school that they're representing, then you're going to be winning a free ticket to the Inter-Primary Championships. Or we have a caller. Caller, you are on the mark. Good night. Hello?
Hi.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes, go ahead. Hello?
Andre Liburd and Kevin Lee Richards.
Give me those names again.
Andre Liburd and Kevin Lee Richards.
Andre Liburd and Kevin A. Richards.
the school they
Yes,
represent.
sir.
And which school did they represent?
Ivy Waters Primary School.
I think that one was too easy, you know. Could you give us your name, please?
John David.
Petal
Tejon David.
Tejon David.
Yes.
Okay, and where would he collect the
Department.
ticket? Department of Education. Okay, so you know where the Department of Education is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can go there tomorrow and give them your name and you will have your ticket. Okay, I think that question
Thank
was
you.
too easy. Have a good night. So let's find another question.
All right, so question 2. Name the sponsor for this year's Inter-Primary and tell us where the headquarters is located. Sponsor and where the headquarters is located. And if you can tell us the answer to that question, then you will win a ticket, give you complimentary access to the venue on April 1st, 2026. So name the sponsor for this year's Inter-Primary and to tell us where the headquarters is located. And of course, you know the numbers 4691616, 4691700. I think that's an easy question as well.
That's a very easy question. So do we have any takers?
All right.
Free tickets. We have a caller? Oh, so nobody want that free ticket? Okay. I guess we could use that free ticket. So ladies and gentlemen, okay, we have a caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night. Hello? Hello, I can't hear you.
Hello?
Could you speak up a bit, please?
Hello?
Yes, good night.
Gulf Insurance.
Yes. And
The
other-
headquarters is in Trinidad.
okay, that question too easy to you know.
We're in
Could you
Trinidad.
give us your name, please?
Cherry and Walwyn.
Lord man, Sherry. This is insider trading. This is insider trading.
Hello?
Yes.
Good night.
Yes, good night.
Hi.
All right. Congratulations.
So you've won.
Good night.
You hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, you've won the ticket.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gulf Insurance and Trinidad.
Yes, this is insider trading though.
No, it's not.
you have a good night, Sherry. Thanks for calling.
All right. So this was a little bit harder. I hope that we get a winner though. It's not too difficult. Name all of the competing teams for this year's Inter-Primary. Tell us the team color and the team mascot. So you have to give us the name of the team color, and the mascot.
Wow, that sounds like it deserves 2 tickets. That's a difficult question. Okay, so you've heard the latest question, and this one is a question for 2 tickets because it's difficult.
All right, so call in, tell us the answer, and you have the chance to win 2 tickets. Name all of the teams competing in this year's Inter-Primary. Tell us the team's color and the team's mascot. Okay, we have someone.
Okay, go ahead, please. Hello? Okay, we've lost that caller. Okay, we have another caller. Caller, go ahead, please.
What's the question? Good night. What's the question?
I would like you to tell us the teams, all of the teams competing in inter-primary this year, as well as the color that that team uses and the mascot for that team, and you can win 2 tickets.
I understand. Believe me, I understand. Caller, are you there? That question is too hard. The question needs to be broken up into 3 pieces. We have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night. Hello? Hello, caller? Caller, are you there? Hello? We're not hearing you. Okay, we have another caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night. Yes, let me make an attempt. So, Charleston Primary School, their color is orange, and the mascot is tigers. Dresden Liburd Primary School, purple, the Falcons. St. Thomas's Primary School, green, jaguars. Elizabeth Emerson Primary School, yellow. They are lions, I believe. Ivor Walters Primary School, maroon. Their color is the color is maroon, and Mustangs. Viogen, I think they are baby blue. No, blue. Their mascot is. I have no idea.
Continue.
Nevis Academy, the color is pink. I don't know what their mascot is. Yeah, so do you get a prize for?
But you know, finish call at the West schools yet. Continue.
And Mad Cross is baby blue. I don't know what their mascot is either.
And then you're missing one school. 2 schools.
Missing a school?
You're missing 2 schools.
Oh, St. James Primary School. St. James Primary School, their color is red, and their mascot, I believe, is the eagle. I think so.
No, the mascot is not correct. But you're missing one school.
The Montessori Academy.
Okay. So I think you deserve one of the tickets because this question was too hard. So give us your name, please.
Devon Cornelius.
Oh.
Devon, are you that? All right. So I think you deserve one of the tickets.
All right, thank you very much.
Because you get a 80 out of 100. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for the ticket giveaway. We are about 2 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. This was a good show. So I'll give my guests the opportunity for a last word to wrap up, and then we'll call it a night. I'm going to start with Miss Fraser and then work my way back to myself.
Okay, thank you again for tuning in to On the Mark with Honorable Troy Liburd. I want to take this opportunity to invite you to tune in, or if not be present, to our press briefing, Media Day for the Nevis Inter-Primary Schools Championship. That takes place on Tuesday, March 31st, and it will be held at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park beginning at 9:30. And all are welcome to attend and purchase your tickets to attend the Nevis Inter-Primary Schools Championship, and this takes place on April 1st, beginning at 11 a.m. at the Nevis Athletics Stadium. I want to say good night to everyone and thank you for having me.
Okay, let's go. Newton, a quick word.
Honorable, you try live. I want to thank you again for having us here on the mark. I think I've marked this off on my calendar every year around this time you invite us here. I would like to also encourage the general public on April 1st to go out and behave on their best behavior. The kids are watching. Support your team, but be very professional, I must say, about it. Again, thanks for having us here. And we're looking forward to come again. Next time, increase the timing.
All right, I want to join my colleagues in encouraging all of you to come on out in person to support our students. Come out with your rags, your flags, and of course your school and team spirit. And we hope to see, as usual, a great showing. So thank you once again for having us, and we look forward to seeing everyone on April 1st.
Okay, thank you very much. And we are moving up on the 10 o'clock hour. I just want to let the general public know that next week, Thursday, the day after the inter-primary, I'm going to be on the show Government at Work right here on Van Radio with, of course, the MBE, Keith Scarborough, who is the host of that show. So I'll be able to give you a recap of what happens on inter-primary and to talk a bit more about what's happening in the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, information technology, etc. We spoke about a lot tonight, but we've only skimmed, we've only skimmed the top of the cream because there's a lot of things that's happening. And so I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. I want to thank my guests for coming. I think this was a wonderful show. We didn't get to much politics, but sometimes the work that we do is important too. I know people wanted to call in and talk their politics, but there's more time for that. And so I want to encourage the general public, of course, to come out next week, Wednesday, for our big inter-primary. That's the mini Olympics here at Nevis. That is our thing. Come out, be safe, make sure that when you come out, you're on your best behavior. Let us support our children. Let us show them that we are really here for them. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in, and if you did not catch the show this evening, the show is going to be replayed tomorrow at 1, so you can catch it there, or you can go on YouTube. It's on YouTube, or you can go on Facebook and replay it. Once again, thank you all for tuning in, and do have a wonderful rest of the night.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or